Yo, what's up, Broncos country? How's it going today, guys? So this week we got a special guest on. We got Gage from Broncos Syndicate. Gage, how you doing today, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on, gentlemen.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. So let's just get right into it tonight. So training camp. Mandatory mini camp and OTAs are coming up here like within the next couple of weeks. Gage, what are your thoughts and what do you want to see come out of OTAs and mandatory mini camp?
Well, first and foremost, obviously, stay healthy, right? We don't want to have any reports of one of our key starters or even one of our key depth pieces going down with an injury. It's probably going to happen, right? But that's the first thing. But in terms of the overall growth and development, it's just taking those next steps forward within this offense. Of course, you've got a new offensive coordinator this year in Davis Webb, so there are going to be some new intricacies, some new terminology, just a different way of doing things. So just kind of installing all of that, making sure that everybody's going to be on the same page there. And then defensively, just continuing to build off of what you've done these past 3 seasons. You've been one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in all of football. And you've added to that over these past couple of years. And really, you've maintained a lot of continuity as well. So I'm just excited to see how that continues to gel. But the most important thing is maintaining health throughout these off-season activities.
Yeah, I hear you. That's the biggest thing. I remember a few years ago, whenever I went to training camp, and Tim Patrick went down right after I left, and I was so upset about that. What's up, Michael? He says, "Hi,
Hey,
Gage.
Mike.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you." Uh, we got a couple in here from Michael. He says, "Good evening, Ed Mohamed on Rocky Mountain Blitz. Go Bill Broncos." Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate it.
It's
Long
Michael.
time supporter. And
Man,
Michael in
yeah.
here again, Denver Broncos for life, and 5280. Thank you, Michael. Mohammed, what are your thoughts? What do you want to see out of mandatory minicamp and OTAs this year?
Well, I'm right there with you, Gage. Health is, the most important thing, because it might ruin our season, honestly, like depending of, God forbid something like that, happens. I think mostly for the offense, just to see the depth, with the wide receivers, with the new addition, our new toy, right? The tight ends, running backs, just a way for us to see what we got, where we at. I guess Davis Webb will get to see the players, and we'll get to see what what his plans are, right? Basically, Sean Payton as well. Defense, not as much, honestly. We kept most of the pieces. I guess we just lost a few. But just overall, just seeing the team clicking, and like I said, please stay healthy. Don't do anything crazy. It's just exciting, honestly, for us to see some football. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think everybody could agree on the fact that just get out OTAs and mandatory
Mm.
minicamp healthy.
Yeah,
Just please, for the love of God, just do that.
yeah.
I do want to see, how Bo Nix looks too after the ankle surgery. Like a lot of people were freaking out a few weeks ago about getting the cleanup surgery, which, from my understanding, was pretty, common. That's a pretty simple procedure to do. So a lot of people were worried about it. I wasn't. Sean Payton, pretty much said he will be ready to go for all the offseason activities. He might be a little slow to start at OTAs, but once training camp gets here, he'll be fully 100% to go. Um, Everything else, I just want to see Jalen Waddle out there too. I can't wait to see him out there. Him lined up against Sertan, that should be so much fun to watch. And I just want to see that. I hope him and Bo Nix build that connection together. And the other thing I want to see, like I heard a lot of reports at rookie minicamp that who was it? That tight end that we drafted, or who was that tight end we
Um,
drafted last year in the late round?
or is it? I can't remember his name.
Caleb Lohner.
Yeah,
Loner. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he was really, really good in rookie minicamp this year. And honestly, I want to see Justin Jolly get that connection with Bo Nix. That's who I'm more excited to see in OTAs and mandatory minicamp. So hopefully we get to see some of that. And, like I said, Bo Nix, I hope he's out there and I hope he's throwing the ball around. It's just going to be so fun to finally
Mm.
see some stuff from Broncos.
Action. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I get bored in the off season a lot. So, but with that said, you kind of touched on it earlier, Gage. I want to get your 100% thoughts on this and what you think this means for the Broncos going forward. Davis Webb being announced, the Broncos' new OC and the play caller for this coming up year, Sean giving that up. That to me says a lot. But what's that say to you, Gage?
I think it says that the Broncos really covet what Davis Webb brings to the table. He's somebody who teams been trying to hire away from Denver for the last couple of years. He's somebody who's growing up that pipeline, if you will. He's going to be a head coach sooner rather than later. And I think Denver knew this was the only way to retain Davis Webb for one more year because they're all in this year, man. They are putting all their chips on the table to win a Super Bowl. And if Sean Payton feels that Davis Webb can unlock the next level of this offense, then that's why they made this move at the end of the day. I feel like there's a great chemistry between Bo Nix and Davis Webb. That's been on display these last several years. Webb has been instrumental in the development of Bo Nix, and he's recently played in the NFL as recently as 2022, where he actually got a Week 18 start for the New York Giants in a meaningless game for them. So he's familiar with a lot of the modern trends and modern concepts, just the way the wind's blowing in the NFL. And we actually saw Ben DiNucci, former Broncos third-string quarterback, on the Kay Adams show the other day, and he went a little bit in depth as to what Davis Webb's going to bring. He's familiar with a lot of the modern pro spread stuff, so expect a lot of five wides, a lot of empty backfield, a lot of shotgun formations. DiNucci also referenced some up-tempo stuff. We could see not quite to the extent of Peyton Manning, every single play we're going up and stuff like that, but I think we could see that a lot more integrated, especially in the early part of the game where Denver was kind of struggling to get into a rhythm at times. Why not lean into the up-tempo stuff where it just makes your offense a little bit more condensed and just easier to streamline and run on a more efficient basis? So I think that Davis Webb is going to bring all these new fun quirks and trends. And that's not to say that Sean Payton didn't bring that stuff. I actually think that Sean Payton's play calling was really, really good. But Sean's talked about this. As he gets older, he realizes some of the ramifications of what he calls. He thinks about what could go bad. And it kind of leads to him being a little bit more hesitant. So removing that element of hesitancy, I think, is another thing that Davis Webb is going to bring to the table. He's not exactly worried about what's going to go wrong. He's more worried about what's going to go right, if that makes sense.
Mohamed, before I get to you, Gage, I just want to ask you this real quick question too. This was my thoughts whenever I initially saw that the Broncos were, firing Joe Lombardi, promoting Davis Webb, and giving him play calling duties. My initial thought, which I'm not saying I was the first one to say it, but I didn't hear anyone else say it until a couple of weeks later. I think it was DMVR said it. Is it possible, in your opinion, that the Broncos, promoted Davis Webb because maybe Sean is looking at, maybe he's wanting to retire here in the next few years when his contract's up, and maybe wanting to get Davis Webb to take over the Broncos head coaching job? Like, that was something I said a few months ago whenever this first happened, that I heard it again on DMVR. Do you think there's any credibility to that?
I don't know. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities, but I don't think there's any indication that Sean Payton wants to give up doing this. He loves it. It's his livelihood, and he's still really good at it. So I don't see any reason why Sean would want to walk away from the game. Sure, maybe he changes his mind if the Broncos end up winning a championship, but I think this is more so about just going all in and putting all those chips on the table for this year, 2026, and doing everything that we can to make sure that we put ourselves in the best position to win a Super Bowl. So I don't think it's anything beyond 2026. I think it's all about this year being an all-in year.
Mohamed, what do you say about this whole Davis Webb thing? What are your thoughts?
I mean, definitely, new blood. He's gonna bring a lot of new, I guess, play calling to the Broncos. He's kind of closer in age to Bo Nix, and from what I hear, they click. The chemistry is there, and the good thing about it, guys. I mean, think about it. Other teams don't know what to expect, right? So now they have to guess. right? And I think he's going to confuse them, and he's going to be bring all these players, and he's got the players to do that. I just hope that Sean Payton does not micromanage. Just you wanted him to be the OC, please leave him alone. Even if he struggles in the beginning, just let him be. Let him do what he's gonna do. And actually very excited for our offense. You know, the pieces we added, and then we have Davis Webb. This is a very good combination. You know, we're gonna be cooking, I think.
I think the
Yeah.
reason why I'm not so worried about Sean micromanaging, sorry to cut you off there, Eddie.
No, you're
The
good.
reason why I'm not so worried about Sean micromanaging is because he trusts Davis Webb. That's his dude. And Sean wouldn't have handed over play calling duties just some Joe Blow, no pun intended there with Joe Lombardi. But I feel like if he truly believes that this guy can get the best out of the team, then he would be comfortable turning over the play calling duties. And that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, I think Sean trusts him to the level that he's confident that Davis isn't going to have a slow start or anything like that.
I love this, for the Broncos. Like you guys said, a young, innovative play caller. I agree with you, Mohamed. I hope he does not, meddle. I hope he just lets Davis Webb do his thing. I mean, if it starts going south, of course, Sean, step in, do what you got to do. But don't take away from Davis Webb. Like, let him go out there, let him do his thing, and just see what happens. Because I think it is going to be a lot more fun. I think you're probably going to see some more shots downfield. You're going to see a lot more creativity, maybe some more. God, please, not as many screens, bubble screens.
Yes.
No, as far as Sean Payton's offense, but when it's like 3rd and like 10, I'm like, okay, Sean, come on, take a shot, please. But like more jet sweeps, end around stuff like that. I want to see some of that creativity come out on the field. It'd be so much fun with Marvin Mims, especially since it's his last year and he's going to want to show out this year, especially for that extension. But I like the one thing that worries me is about this year is if say Davis Webb does do well and him and Bo Nix are cooking. Sorry. Say they go out there and they win a Super Bowl, or the offense is putting up like 30 points a game or something. I know that's crazy. I'm just throwing numbers out there. What are you going to do next year if that happens? If this offense is putting up a buttload of points, they win the Super Bowl because of Davis Webb and Bo Nix. Do you let Davis Webb walk, or do you pay him a buttload of money to stay here in Denver? Like, I just want to know what the answer to that question is.
I don't know. Like, of course you want to keep the young, hot stud, but you got to recognize what Sean Payton's done for this culture, man. And yeah. I've seen examples in sports of people promoting coaches. Like, I actually watched a video about this the other day with the greatest show on turf, the St. Louis Rams. This happened to them. They wanted to retain their young stud offensive coordinator, Mike Martz. And they ended up pushing Dick Vermeil out of the organization, so these rumors claim. And ultimately, it didn't really work out in favor of the Rams. They didn't win another Super Bowl. So I'm hesitant to push the guy who turned this team around out the door, because we've been through 8 seasons of just absolute suckage, and I don't want to go back to that. I'm not saying Davis Webb would put us back there, but I don't know. I just feel like the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and the grass is pretty green where we are right now.
No, I don't want Sean Payton to leave either. I'm just, just him giving up play calling just kind of worried me. I'm just like, he's really stubborn. I'm like, him doing that. I understand what you said earlier, Gage, but just him being as hard-headed as he is, I'm just like, well, bro, what? But I mean, I don't think it'll happen. My thing is if Sean Payton doesn't sign a new contract by the end of or sometime by next offseason, I don't know, man. It's gonna make me worry even more, honestly. Because then he'll have 1 year left. I mean, he can still get it done, but I just like if he really wants to do this so bad, just sign a contract by next offseason, please. A contract extension, because I really want Sean to stay. I think he can coach for another 5, 6, 7 years. Honestly, I mean, what is he like now? 64, I think, or something. He's in his mid-60s, and coaches are coaching in their 70s. So, but going away from that, Gage, we got a comment here real quick from Peter Johnson. He says, if the offense cooks and the franchise has a chance of losing Webb, Payton may be asked to take a back seat. Very interesting conundrum. I'm not going to go down that road. Just have to wait and see how the season goes. But it is very, not concerning, I would say, but it's very exciting to see what would happen in that scenario. But next up, Gage, I want to get your take. What was your overall draft grade take for the draft this year? Like the Broncos picks, I know they didn't pick until the third round this year. You know, they got a lot of solid players, but what was your like overall thoughts on the draft this year?
I mean, I think the overall theme of this draft was maximizing value and bringing in short-term depth pieces who could become long-term starters. So you think about Tyler Onyedem. He's probably going to be in for a bigger role with the departure of John Franklin Myers, but you also have other guys such as Savion Jones and especially Ioma Uwazurike who can step in as well. So it's not like they have to hurry up and put him on the field. With Jonah Coleman, in year one, he's going to have a big role, especially on third down. He's going to be a pass protection, pass catching type of back, but you've obviously got J.K. Dobbins, who's your RB1, and then you've got R.J. Harvey, who as of right now is your 2. I mean, in theory, Coleman could supplant him because I think Coleman does a lot of similar things to Harvey, and I think there are some things that he does better than Harvey, honestly. But then you look a little bit further, obviously, with Gage Casey, Justin Jolie. Neither one of those guys are going to be expected to get on the field immediately. There might be some packages for Jolie, but Evan Ingram, your immediate starter there. You've got Gage Casey, probably more profiles as a guard than a tackle. You're thinking about the long-term Ben Powers replacement possibly with him, you know. Dallin Bentley, you're thinking about maybe a long-term Adam Troutman replacement. Then you've got Red Murdoch, who you caught, man. That was such a steal at the back end of the draft. He's somebody who could work his way into the rotation sooner rather than later because Denver ran a lot of third inside linebacker packages last year, and we don't really have a clear-cut third inside linebacker right now. I'm hesitant with this whole Jonah Ellis experiment at linebacker. I think he's an edge rusher. Like, he can do some good coverage stuff, but he's truly an edge rusher. And adding Red Murdoch and then getting Torian York as an undrafted free agent, you've got some really strong depth there now where it's kind of making Ellis at inside linebacker a little bit redundant. And then you got Miles Scott, who you drafted. I think it's going to be tough for him to make the active roster because of the depth you have at safety. Him coming out of Illinois, profiles as a special teams player, so that's probably going to be where you end up playing him if he makes the team. But I see guys like J.L. Skinner, Devon Key on the roster right now. It's just going to be a little bit tough for him. But overall, I think Denver maximized their value. Did I miss any player? I think I got everybody right.
Coleman, the D lineman, you got Gage Casey, you got both tight ends. No, you got Red Murdoch.
Yep, I got everybody.
Yep. Mohamed, what are your thoughts?
I mean, honestly, like I agree with you, Gage. I mean, with what they had, they did okay. I think they did pretty good, I would say. You know, when you're picking that late, it's hit or miss. And then we have George Payton. He's usually pretty good on those later picks, right? So, like you said, most of these players are probably not going to start right away, but they're good depth pieces. You know, hopefully in the future they'll help the team, and you know, the running back Coleman is probably going to help us this season, you know. So like I said, overall, they did okay with what they had. So let's just wait and see.
Yeah, I was excited with all of it. Well, I can't really pronounce the guy's name that we drafted on the D line, but
Onyedem.
Onyedem. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I think he's gonna be the John Franklin Myers replacement, but we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, you got all those guys on the defensive line, like, you know, anybody can win that job at this point, in my opinion. So we'll just have to wait and see there. Jonah Coleman, I was really excited for. I think he was probably the best pick in the draft for us, honestly. I don't know what they're going to do. Like, is Davis Webb going to be run, you know, a lot? Is he going to be using all three backs? You know, Harvey's going to want to get out there. You brought back Dobbins for a reason, and then you draft Jonah Coleman. Like, I don't know what they're going to do at the running back position, man. I'm excited to see it, though. Red Murdoch, you know, I know Mohamed was really upset about this because he wanted to get an inside linebacker earlier in the draft because we needed one. I mean, you got Singleton. He's, 32 now. Stranad's 30. You know, I'm not saying they're not good, but, you know, it's just I think both those guys are better in the run game than they are in the passing game, especially Singleton, he's really good in the run game. Stranad, really good blitzer, man. The guy, he gets upfield and he gets to the quarterback. I love watching it. And I agree with you, Gage. It's like, why are you trying to put Jonah Ellis at inside linebacker? Put him back on edge. He's an edge rusher. He's good at it. I don't know why you're going to try to waste, his rookie contract at him at inside linebacker at any time at all. You could know what he does on the outside. Let him stay there and do what he's going to do. But and then you have both tight ends. One guy, yeah, he's the Adam Troutman replacement. But the biggest one to me, the one I'm excited to see, is Jolly. He's the one that was my favorite pick because I like Evan Ingram, but I think the guy's 30 years old, and maybe with a new play caller and Davis Webb, maybe we'll see more out of the tight ends this year. Like, we didn't see a whole lot of Evan Ingram last year, and honestly, that kind of upset me. Like, we went out, we got him, and I'm just like, I was excited. I was like, yeah, we finally got a tight end, and then you hardly see him. And
yeah, but that was really more so because he didn't give himself the opportunities. Like, they tried to give him some looks, and he had a few flashes in the pan. I just don't think that Evan Ingram was ever going to be what a lot of people expected him to be.
I didn't want like an elite, receiving tight end. I just wanted something average, something that we haven't had since what? Vernon Davis, maybe? Or no, who was it? It was I forgot his name.
Probably Noah Fant, honestly. That'd be the last half tight end we had.
He was solid, but I was talking about someone like who was it? Owen Daniels, maybe from Super Bowl 50, like someone like that. But Julius Thomas. Thank you, Graham. But I'm kind of hoping Jolly's that guy from here on out. Like that, I want him to have that connection with Bo Nix because I watched a lot of his college tape and he looks really, really good. The guy can literally catch anything that comes near him. So, but next up, Graham, Gage. Sorry, I get you guys' names mixed up sometimes. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Broncos could be Super Bowl contenders this year? I know it's early, but if you had to pick right now, do you think they could, make him win the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, absolutely. I think this team is the most well-rounded team in football. Now, are there a few question marks as far as like the health of your franchise quarterback? Yeah, 100%. But you look at the depth that this team has at so many key positions. You look at how stacked they are in the trenches. You look at the overall weakness, I feel like, in the AFC. Yes, there have been some moves made, but overall, man, I just feel like the AFC is kind of at an all-time low, and Denver's got an opportunity to capitalize on that. It's going to be difficult with their schedule. I mean, they've got a really tough first-place schedule, but this team has the best roster that I've seen in a long time, probably since the 2012 Broncos. Like, that was the most loaded roster they had around Peyton Manning, in my opinion, just from top to bottom. That roster profiles very closely to this roster, in my opinion.
Mohamed, what about you?
I mean, I would say yes, especially with the offense. I think the offense is going to improve. I do fear a little bit for the defense to take a step back. I think us losing JFM is a big deal. I don't really think the Broncos are looking at it that way. And then also that inside linebacker stuff, I don't think the Broncos are taking it seriously. John Ellis, and come on, man. I honestly think teams are probably going to run on us and then, tight ends. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. See what happens.
You still have Drew Sanders, too. We didn't hear anything from him last year because I know he was injured most of the year. But my thoughts on it, yes, the Broncos could absolutely 100% win the Super Bowl this year. They would have won it last year, in my opinion, if Bo Nix didn't go down. They would have beat the Patriots, and I believe they would have beat the Seahawks. Like, the Patriots defense, while good, wasn't nowhere near as good as the Broncos defense last year. If we would have faced Sam Darnold, we would have made that guy being seen ghost again, in my opinion. He would have been like, oh, crap. Nick Benito would have hit him once or twice, and he'd be like, oh, crap, run. So I believe 100% Bo Nix didn't get hurt. We won the Super Bowl last year. So this year, considering the fact that we hardly lost anybody, like JFM was the biggest one. And I know that left a big hole in the defensive line, but you got multiple guys. Gage, you said it yourself. Wazirike, you got this young cat you just drafted. You got all these guys in there. Like, somebody's going to be able to take over that role. Like, they have to. As far as inside linebacker, I do wish they would have done more. I like Red Murdoch, Alex Singleton, Justice Trinad, and like I said, you got Drew Sanders. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But with that all said, Gage, do you see any weaknesses on this team?
I mean, you do look at inside linebacker, right, as a potential weakness with Alex Singleton because he's obviously got a lot of bust potential. The dude is not athletic. His coverage tape is really, really bad. I mean, his run defense is really good. I will definitely give him credit there. And his leadership, what he brings as the defensive captain, that's why they brought him back. But you can't say that he's not a potential liability there. That's why I'm really hoping that somebody like Red Murdoch or maybe even Torian York could step up. So we'll see. I ultimately think that you look at left guard, if hopefully you can get some of your depth guys to step up if Ben Powers doesn't play well. But I don't know, man. You're kind of stuck with Powers in that starting spot for one more year. But that's about it. This roster is stacked and it's deep. So it's hard to pinpoint a lot of weaknesses. And that's why we didn't see Denver go out and add even a bunch of lower tier free agents. I mean, the only real free agents that they signed were Tyson Anderson and crap. Was that it?
That was it.
Tyson Anderson. Yeah. So they felt like they didn't need to reinforce the roster. That should tell you all you need to know about what they feel about the depth of this team.
Mohamed, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, inside linebacker is one. But I would like also to look at the offense. The tight end from last season, we really didn't do that well. So we did draft a couple of pieces. So I'm hoping that improves, as far as like the tight ends. But that's about it for me.
Let's see. Neston here, he says, is it realistic for the Broncos to improve on their past season's record? Gage, I'm gonna let you go first on this because I got to plant my thoughts here for a second.
I don't know. I really don't think so, but I think they could be in the same position that they were last year. Like, I think that they could end up being the number one seed again, but it might be 12 wins gets you the number one seed this year because the AFC might be a little bit more competitive. I could see the Broncos maybe having one or two less wins than they did last year, but being an overall better team, if that makes sense. Like, I could see the roster being better, the team being better, but maybe the ball doesn't bounce your way in a couple of games. You don't have a crazy comeback in a game that you should have lost like you did in the Giants game. So I could definitely see that, but that's not to say that this team won't be better in terms of what happens by the end of the year. Like, they could win the Super Bowl, but only win 12 games in the regular season, right?
Mohamed, what are your thoughts?
I think honestly, Eddie, it's going to be hard to repeat. I mean, as far as the record, we might, like Gage said, we might improve, especially on offense, but maybe we're not going to win as many games because, I mean, you look around the NFL, a lot of these teams added players on the draft and in free agency. So a lot of teams have gotten better, especially in our division. So we have to look at that. So it's probably not going to be as bad, maybe 12, 13 games that we win, and that doesn't mean that we're not going to win the Super Bowl, or be the number one seed again. But I think it's just going to be tough this season.
Yeah, I think last week I picked the Broncos to go 14-3, but just really looking early in that schedule, those first 6 games, man, they're brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you start the season off on the road, then come home, and then I think there's 2 games in those first 6 games where you're out in LA, or you're out in California for 2 weeks against I think it's the 49ers or the Rams or the Chargers.
One of those 49ers and Chargers.
Okay, yeah. So it's just, oh my God, dude. It just, those 2 games right there, that could be a big determining factor. I think the Broncos win one of those games. I think they lose one, but then you got, thankfully you got the Rams at home. You got the Seahawks at home. I think there's another team in there you got at home too. I can't remember who it was though.
I got it in front of me here.
The Jags.
Yeah.
You got the Jags
so
at home.
Your first 6 is at KC, home Jacksonville, home Rams, at San Francisco, at Chargers, and home Seahawks.
So you got 3 away, 3 at home. So that should help a little bit. I just think that 2-week stretch where you have to stay in California for 2 weeks, that I think they're going to win one and lose one of those games. So it's going to be hard. But as far as my weakness for this team, I agree with both of you guys. Inside backer. That's the biggest weakness in my opinion. And the next one I would have to say would probably, and I'm just going off of what I've seen so far, and I don't know is, the unknowns is the defensive line. Like one of these other guys got to step up between DJ Jones, Zach Allen, and Malcolm Roach. One of these other guys, the young guy we just drafted, or any of the other guys, somebody's got to step up. Like I'm just scared that they don't. That's gonna because even last year we still kind of struggled in some games to stop the run, and that to me is going to be a big problem. Hopefully, one of these guys that are taking over for JFM, they can do that. So that's my biggest thing. Man, it's just really hard to say. On the offensive side, though, like I don't know. Like I think we'll be fine at guard. Like I think Ben Powers will probably most likely be the starter for sure, Graham. But after seeing what we saw from Alex Palczewski last year, and what was it, like 7 or 8 games he started for Ben Powers while he was out, I'm comfortable saying I think the guard will be okay with Palczewski and then Gage Casey. I know I read up on it. He was a great tackle in college, but they say he's going to make a better guard in the NFL than anything else. So hopefully that's the case. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? I would say tight end, but I think Evan Ingram's a solid enough tight end to get you by. Troutman's your blocking. Then you drafted 2 other guys to replace those guys. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in OTAs and mandatory minicamp, training camp, and even preseason at that point. So, but next up, we can run through this real quick. You kind of touched on already, Gage, but if you had to guess right now, what would you think the first 6 weeks would look like, win-loss record-wise?
I mean, if you get out of that 3-3, I would say you're in a pretty good spot, right? Because you're going to have 3 of these games on the road. 2 of those road games are definitely going to be tough environments for you, going to Kansas City and then going to San Francisco. The road game against the Chargers is kind of a home game for you anyway, because Broncos country travels so well down there. Excuse me. It's so well represented by Broncos country in Southern California. So, yeah, I'm not really concerned about that in terms of the representation, but you haven't won a road game against the Chargers. Well, you did in 2023, but Justin Herbert went down in that game, so kind of hard to really give him that one. So it's been a while since you've beaten a full-strength Chargers team on the road. So that's going to be a tough one for them. But you look at the home game against Los Angeles, if you could somehow steal that one, you're hoping to maybe get some revenge on Jacksonville after they came into Denver last year and whooped up on you, quite frankly. And then you look at that road game against Kansas City week 1. I believe Patrick Mahomes is going to be out there, but he's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to be full strength 100%. He's probably going to be like 75%. We're not going to see him moving outside the pocket and extending the plays and doing all this crazy stuff. And who knows, maybe there's that chance that Justin Fields ends up starting that game. So either way, that's an opportunity that Denver should take advantage of. If you come out of that 3-3, regardless of which 3 games you win and which 3 games you lose, then you're going to be in pretty good shape, I feel like.
Mohamed, what say you about those first 6 games?
Man, I hope 4-2. If you go 4-2, that's a big win for the Broncos. But like Gage said, it's tough, man. It's not going to be easy. So we'll just see how it goes, man. But yeah, 4-2.
I'm going to touch on this because Mohamed knows my thoughts on this. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is starting week 1. I think the Chiefs, in my opinion, honestly, would be idiotic as hell to start him week 1. Like he tore his ACL in week 15, which is December. It takes a full year, like a full 12 months for a player to really heal from that, and a full 2 years for them to even really trust their knee again. So and I'm not saying this because I'm a Broncos fan, if I was a Chiefs fan, I'd be begging the Chiefs not to start Patrick Mahomes week 1. I'd be like, let him rest at least the first month. I know that might put you behind the 8 ball on the season, but honestly, like you got to think long term. Like, do you really want to sacrifice or put Patrick Mahomes out there and possibly him re-hurt that knee again and he's out even longer? Like, that's just my opinion. Me personally, as a Broncos fan, I don't care either way. Let him be out there. We're still going to kick their butt.
Yep, I agree.
You said it yourself, Gage. Even if he's out there, I don't even think he's going to be 75%. I think he'll probably be about 50%. He's not going to move. I guarantee you right now, if they're planning on starting Mahomes week 1, Andy Reid's probably in Patrick Mahomes' ear, pounding into his head. Don't leave the pocket.
Yep.
You stay there and deliver the ball.
Nick Bonito will be coming for him.
Oh, yeah. And, with the tackles they have, I'm pretty sure they got a new tackle this year, don't they, Gage?
Yeah, he was there last year as a backup, but Jalen Moore at right tackle this year, very mid player. I don't think that moves the needle for them at all. Their offensive line at that position is still really questionable. And I still have some questions about their left guard as well. He had a good year last year, but he had a really bad year the year before that, before moving to left guard. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting for sure.
That's my whole thing, dude. I'm like, you're going to have Benito and Cooper and Allen coming after you. Reed's going to be like, nope, stay in the pocket, deliver the ball quick, just get rid of it. And that's why they got Kenneth Walker. They're probably going to try to run the ball a lot week 1. But I think the Broncos are going to know that, and they're going to stack the box. But, hey, Mahomes, you're going to have to beat us sitting inside the pocket. You're going to have to. We're not going to let you run, and we know you're not going to run outside the pocket. We're not going to let you run the ball. So you're going to have to beat us from inside the pocket. So we got one here from Nesto. He says, is it safe to say the 2 games against the Raiders, the games against the Jets, and the Cardinals are freebies? Oof. By the way, I'm going to say we're going to go 4-2 in that stretch too in the first 6 games. But to go to this question here, Jets, I'd say freebie. Cardinals, I think Jacoby Brissett is really good with that team, so I'm going to say no to that one. And I say probably one of the Raiders games might be. Gage, what are your thoughts?
Well, Jacoby Brissett's holding out right now. He might not even be there for him. So it might be either Gardner Minshew or Carson Beck starting that game. We don't know at this point. We'll see if they end up paying Brissett. But there's no such thing as a freebie game in the NFL. These are all professional football players. And if you go in there with the wrong mindset, thinking that you should be able to beat the team, no problem, you're going to get your ass kicked. That's just what's going to happen. So you need to have the mindset of playing your best football and going in there and taking care of business. But let's just be honest. If the Broncos can't beat these teams, then they have no business being in the playoffs or being legitimate Super Bowl contenders. These are the games that you're supposed to win. The team can't have the mindset that it's an easy game, but we as fans and analysts should be like, yeah, these are the games that they need to take care of business here.
Before I move to you, Mohamed, actually, can I take back what I said about the Jets? Because I just remembered, like, we played them the past 7 years. They beat us once. And every single time we play them, it's always close. It's like 13-11, 10-9. It's like, I don't know why, but we always struggle to beat the Jets. We beat them most of the time, but we struggle. So I'm going to go ahead and say, no, that's not a freebie. I'm going to take back what I said. But Mohamed, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about the Jets or the Cardinals. Now the Raiders, they added a lot of pieces, so I think we're still gonna win, but they're not gonna make it easy. It's gonna be a challenge. They're gonna play us hard. So, yeah. So I would say Jets and Cardinals. Yes, could say a freebie, but not the Raiders.
Especially if Jacoby Brissett doesn't play week 1. Who's their backup if Brissett doesn't play? Is it
either Gardner Minshew or Carson Beck?
And Gardner Minshew's coming off an ACL too. So Carson Beck, okay. Good luck with that, Cardinals. We got one here from Peter Johnson. It says, depth at offensive tackle is definitely a weakness in my opinion. Heaven forbid Bowles and or Mike McGlinchey go down long term. Yeah, right now I think you got Frank Crum. And who's the other tackle? that we have.
I mean, Palczewski's kind of a swing guard tackle, so I feel like basically they view it as Palczewski's your left side backup, and then Frank Crumb's your right side backup. So I feel like if you'd have an injury at tackle on either one of those sides, those would be the guys who would fill that respective side.
Yeah. Mohamed, what are your thoughts to this?
Yeah, that's a very scary thought, honestly. Our O line is a strength of ours. So hopefully that does not happen, but it's gonna if that happens and we have to actually use one of our swing tackles, I think it's gonna show. Like it's not gonna be the same. Especially I think left tackle, right tackle maybe not as much, but left tackle I think it's gonna show. So
knock on wood, nobody gets hurt this year. I mean, but last year we were pretty lucky. We had Ben Powers go down for, like I said, 8 weeks, and we had a really good guard fill in for him with Palczewski. But everybody else remained healthy other than him. Hopefully that stays the same this year. They all stay healthy, and we ain't got to worry about that issue. But it's the NFL; injuries are bound to happen. So, but I know Frank Crum, and I want to say there was another guy they had on the offensive line depth chart last year.
Matt
Outside
Parrott. Matt Parrott.
Thank you. That's who I was thinking of. But I don't know. He kind of scares me.
Yeah. I mean, he had that bad game against the Jets. Speaking of that Jets game, he was one of the main contributors of our struggles in that one, and then he got hurt in that game. So, yeah, that one's tough for him for sure. But you do have Gage Casey as well, who, although he does profile more as a guard at the NFL level, that's not to say that in a pinch he couldn't play tackle for you. You know?
Hopefully it won't come to that, though, right, Gage?
Yeah, exactly. If that happens, then you've got some big problems, buddy.
True.
Bo Nix, start running. But
look out.
We got another one here from Peter Johnson. Says, if they threw Mahomes out to Benito and Cooper and Allen week 1, that would be crazy. I agree. Like, maybe I'm the only one in the world that thinks like this, regardless of who you are as a fan or fan base. If I was the Chiefs, I know they'll never do this. I know that for a fact. But I would give Mahomes a whole year off.
Mm-hmm.
I would not even risk him. I know Reed's coming back this year. Travis Kelce's coming back. They're trying to go out there for one last hurrah. But, oh, my God, dude. Like, if Mahomes can't move, I would not jeopardize. He's only, 30? Yep. The guy's probably got like 10 years left in the NFL. I would not jeopardize that.
Yeah.
That's a big investment for the Chiefs. I'm like, I would not jeopardize that in the slightest. I'm like, Mahomes, sit your ass out for the rest of the year. You're not playing. Just get healthy, focus on that, and come back in 2027. What are your thoughts to this, Gage?
I mean, I'll say this. I've talked to some Kansas City people who are kind of close-ish to the organization, and all indications are that Mahomes is pushing very hard to play week 1. Will they let him? That's the big $1 million question, right? But if I'm a betting man right now, I'm going to say he's out there, but that's not the smart decision. It's not the decision I would make. Like, I'm with you, Eddie. I would sit him out for the entire year because you're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Your roster's not good enough. That's just a fact. You are not going to win the Super Bowl this year, so why risk it? You can build this roster back up, and within another year, you could easily be there. But let's say Patrick goes out there and maybe he doesn't tear his ACL again, but let's say that he rolls his ankle and deals with a high ankle sprain all year long or something like that, some sort of compensation injury. It's going to limit him, and it's going to linger. I'll say this. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Patrick Mahomes has more of a Russell Wilson back half of his career as opposed to a Tom Brady back half of his career.
I love that. Yes.
Oh, my God.
He's going to age gracefully.
Gage, I think you just gave all of Broncos country like the most excitement they probably have heard since Super Bowl 50 or the Bo Nix draft trade. But I'm not going to go that far. But again, like I said, like that's a $500 million investment almost. I know he's already played like half of his contract, or almost half his contract, I think.
Basically, yeah.
But it's like, dude, if you want to keep Mahomes, healthy and keep him here, make sure he stays for at least maybe another 10 years. Sit him. Do not let him out on that field. I don't care what Patrick Mahomes says. I want to play. I want to play. No, Patrick, you're going to sit. You're our investment. We're making this decision, and you're going to sit and you're going to get healthy. We're not going to go out there and jeopardize it. Like you said, it could be a high ankle sprain. He could go out there, he can't move. Maybe he gets just obliterated by a pass rush because he can't move and doesn't hurt his leg, but maybe he gets a concussion or something.
Yep.
Anything can happen. And I wouldn't risk it. But Mohamed, what are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, I think they are going to rush him in. He's going to play week 1. That's what I have the feeling that's what's going to happen. But to me, it's like he's not going to be 100%, even if you let him play. So most likely, you're just going to run the ball. So why have him out there anyway? It's not going to make any sense, because you're going to be worried that he's not 100%. You don't want anyone to get to him. So what you're going to do? Run the ball. So why have him there? You just put anyone. So I don't know, man. It's the smart decision is, like you guys said, is not to let him play, but I think he's gonna end up playing. And if he does end up playing, I'm gonna love seeing our pass rushers going after him. He's just gonna be running for his life. So love to see that.
He ain't going to be running. I'll tell you that. He could be hitting the turf is what he's going to be doing. But with that said, the reason I agree with you guys, I think they are going to rush him back only for the simple fact, I think this is going to probably be Reed's last year, and this is definitely going to be Kelsey's last year. So they're going to rush him. They're going to put him out there week 1. And then whenever he gets inevitably hurt, most likely, maybe not against the Broncos, but some other team, they're going to be like, well, that's it. And they're probably going to, like, if Mahomes goes down again this year, I guarantee you, like, I know people ain't going to want to say this, or people won't say this, or be like, you're crazy for suggesting it. But I think if Mahomes goes down again this year and Reed and Kelsey, like, they won't throw in the towel. They'll still be trying to fight tooth and nail to win. But I think organizationally, the whole organization is going to be like, you know what? We're just going to reset, get another high draft pick, go out next draft and get another decent player to rebuild this team. I think that's probably what the organization would do. Andy Reid and Kelsey, they're going to be trying to fight tooth and nail to win. We got another one here from Peter Johnson. I want Mahomes out there because I don't want the asterisk next to the W. I don't care, honestly. Like, did the Chiefs did we give them asterisks whenever we didn't have a coach or quarterback for 8 years? But what are your thoughts to this, Gage?
I couldn't agree more. Like, come on, man. Seriously. There's no such thing as a free win in the NFL. There's no such thing as a win with an asterisk. A win is a win is a win. And you know what? This roster is better than the Chiefs. They just are. They are the better football team. Denver should be expected to win this game, regardless of who's out there at quarterback. So, I don't know, man. I don't think that moves it one way or the other for me. I don't care if it's Mahomes out there, Justin Fields out there, or freaking Shane Falco out there. I don't care who it is. I think the Denver Broncos are better than the Kansas City Chiefs from top to bottom, and they are going to win the game.
Mohamed, what are your thoughts to this?
I mean, the Broncos are better. We know that, but it's just not going to matter because you know how the media is looking at the Broncos. I mean, it has gotten a little bit better as far as how they view the Broncos, but as far as Bo Nix or the Broncos, anytime we win, it's just going to be the same story. Hopefully, until we win the Super Bowl, then things will change. But as it stands, it's always this shady thing going on with the Broncos. They don't want to give us our accolades. I don't know why, but like I said, I know we don't care, so that's what matters.
I've been watching a lot of football talk over the last couple of weeks since the schedule's been released, and I could tell you there's a lot of people out there that believe Mahomes is going to start, which I'm fine with that. Whatever, whether if you think he's going to start or not, cool. I think he's going to because I think they're going to force him out there, reading them, and then if he gets close to getting hurt, I think the organization is just like nope. But as far as that, a lot of people are picking the Chiefs to win week 1 against us. Like, I did see that. Like, there's a lot of people picking the Chiefs, like, oh, Mahomes will be back. It's in Arrowhead.
Wow, that makes no sense.
I'm like, really? I'm like, name 5 players on the Chiefs roster that's better right now than 5 players on the Broncos roster. You can't do it. Nick Benito, Surtain, Bo Nix, Jonathan Cooper, Quinn Miners, and honestly, I'd probably say maybe Mike McGlinchey, Brandon Jones, Tyler Noah Hufunga, like Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. And Travis Kelce is a big question mark because the guy's old and he's not really the same player he once was. So, but
Creed Humphrey, I'll give you.
What's
maybe
up?
Chris Jones. I'll give you Creed Humphrey and Chris Jones. That's it.
I would say Creed Humphrey. I would agree with you that, Gage, but Chris Jones, like, I don't see it anymore. I think he's starting to go downhill. But with that said, it's like, how? Like, how do you pick the Chiefs week one? I don't get it. You're right, Gage. The Broncos have a better overall roster. Bo Nix might not be 100% healthy either, but I guarantee he's going to be more healthy than Patrick Mahomes week one. And the Broncos have a better roster. Like,
Bo's injury was nowhere near as serious. Sorry, Eddie.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. I'm so sick to death. Gage, I want to get your thoughts on this real quick and what you think about this. Why on earth? Like, to me, I don't look past what a team did a year ago. Like, whatever the team did last year, you can maybe use that information to, maybe pick and, say what's going to happen this year. But anything after or before last year, cut it out. Nope. Nothing a team did 2 years ago, because the teams in 2 seasons, even a season, honestly, changes so vastly. It changes so much over a season, let alone 2 seasons, that 2 seasons ago, you can't even be like, oh, yep. Chiefs, they won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Okay. But what are your thoughts? The Chiefs ain't going to be good this year. They're not. I'm sorry. They might be third in the division again.
I mean, they could. They very well could be, but I just feel like at the end of the day, they're giving the Chiefs credit for what they've done in the past, and that's not a reflection of what they're going to do now. It's not a reflection of the current state of the roster. I'm going to have to slip out for just 30 seconds because my computer is about to glitch out, so I'm literally going to be gone 30 seconds, and I'll be right back, okay?
All right. Mohamed, what say you about this?
I mean, Eddie, honestly, it looks like they have decided that the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL because of, I mean, and I understand why, but they have decided that, and now they're declining, but they're refusing to accept the fact that the Chiefs are not what they used to be. The Chiefs are not the Chiefs. On the other hand, you look at the Broncos, they weren't viewing Bo Nix as a high caliber quarterback when he was picked. So they were like, well, the Broncos reached for him. So they're not gonna accept that Bo Nix is a good quarterback. And that's the fact, no matter what. And honestly, Eddie, until we win a Super Bowl, they're just not gonna give us our credit. But like I said earlier, man, I honestly don't care. We know what the Broncos are. We know what our team is. So that's what matters.
Yep.
And my thing is about this is like, okay, you're going to sit there and say, oh, the Chiefs are going to win it all this year. They're going to be better. They're going to beat the Broncos because of what they accomplished 3 years ago. Okay, well, 3 years ago, the Broncos were what, 5 or 4-12 or something, and no one wanted the head coach here or whatever. Like if we're going to do that for the Chiefs and do that for the Broncos, then I guess, because the Broncos are going to be really, really bad this year. What? I can't stand it. It drives me up the wall. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say the Chiefs are going to lose every game. That's not going to happen. They'll win some, I'm sure. Maybe they might even be competitive. But the days of them, guaranteed to be in the Super Bowl, guaranteed to win the division, those days are over. They're done. Like, I'm not saying that can't happen, but let's be for real. The Chargers even have a better roster right now than the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like just like last year. We said this last year, Mohamed. It was the same thing last year. Oh, Chiefs are going to win the division. Chargers are going to come in second. Broncos third. Raiders fourth. They're predicting the same outcome this year. Have we learned nothing from last year? This division, like, you guys are probably right. We're probably going to maybe win 1 or 2 less games this year, and we'll probably be competing for the division with the Chargers again, kind of like last year until about week 15. It's probably going to be the same thing, and the Chiefs are going to be battling for third. And I'm sorry, if the Chiefs organization was smart, I wouldn't even worry about it this year. I'd be like, you know what, Reed, I'm sorry. I know it's your last year, Kelsey, whatever. We just want to get a high draft pick and rebuild this and give Mahomes time to recover. Other than that, we really don't care. We've won 3 Super Bowls. We just need to do a reset. Plain and simple. That's what the Chiefs need to do. If you don't do that, then you have the same issue the Broncos have for 8 years, trying to, go out and get this guy, get that guy, and just keep trying to get over the hump. And then you're just pushing yourself farther back because you refuse to reset. And as far as that, like even when we won the Super Bowl in 2015, Mohamed, we still didn't get no respect. That whole lead up to the Super Bowl, oh, the Broncos are going to get destroyed by the Steelers. Okay. Oh, the Broncos have no chance against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Okay. Oh, Cam Newton's going to run all over this defense. Okay. So, but I can't no more, man. These people just drive me nuts because they're so biased. It's not even about the Chiefs' love. It's about the Broncos' hate, in my opinion. It's not just all about the Chiefs' love. It's about the Broncos' hate. Because I was told a few years ago, Gage, that this is a flyover city. Denver is. No one cares. It's not just the Broncos. The Nuggets, the Avalanche, the Rockies. No one cares about us out here because we're a flyover city. And I'm like, that's probably one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life, but okay. But let's get into the last thing we got to talk about tonight. So, Gage, want to get your thoughts on this. So, out of all the Broncos draft picks so far, everyone's signed except for our young defensive lineman. But with that said, Jonah Coleman's total value contract, $5.61 million with a signing bonus of $1.23 million. What do you think about all the draft picks and their contracts?
I mean, they're the standard rookie deals, right? So I don't really have much to comment on that. It's essentially the same contracts that everybody drafted those at that position would get. So it's a level playing field. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you there.
Well, what about the fact that our third overall pick hasn't signed his yet? Are you concerned about that at all?
No, not really. Sometimes these contract negotiations get drug out, but as long as he's out there participating, which he was in rookie minicamp, he had signed a waiver to do so, all that stuff. This wasn't like a Shamar Stewart situation with the Bengals last year where he was holding out and wasn't reporting to anything. So, no, it's just very minor stuff, and it'll get worked out, and he'll be on the field. Nothing to be concerned about, in my opinion.
Mohamed, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm not worried. He's just trying to squeeze, as much as possible. Can't blame the guy, honestly. Do I think he's gonna hold out or anything? No way. He's gonna sign it eventually. Last season I forgot who it was. We had a similar
Aaron.
situation. Was it okay? Yeah. So it happens. So I'm not worried about it, honestly.
I just want to touch on the subject because people are freaking out about it. Just like last year with Barron, they were freaking out about him not signing it. I think he got close to training camp before he signed. And I'm like, I'm not really worried. I know he's going to sign. They all sign. Just chill out. Just give it time. They're probably just working on some of the finer details, and then he'll be signed before training camp. Hell, I would say probably before OTAs and mandatory minicamp start, he'll be signed. So I'm not too worried. But Gage, Mohamed, any final thoughts from you guys before we get out of here tonight?
Thank you so much for having me on, gentlemen. It's been a great pleasure. I always love coming on, usually around this time of year and chatting up balls. We head into the season, so always a lot of fun, man.
Appreciate it, Gage. Really appreciate you coming on, man. You're an excitement to have on the show, man. You're very knowledgeable. Mohamed, any final thoughts from you?
I mean, same thing, honestly. Like every time we have Gage, we always have a lot of fun, a lot of topics we go to. And, I always like your insights and stuff. So anytime you want to come, Gage, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Gage. This is it for us tonight, guys. We appreciate you guys all being in here. Gage, you're welcome to come back anytime, like Mohamed said. And I hope to see you this year out there at training camp, man.
So, yeah, likewise.
But we'll talk to you guys next week, and we'll see you guys later.